Hey guys, how are you? It is Allison from Allison Answers, and I am here to talk to you today about codependency. We talked about that at length throughout these last few weeks, and today we're going to talk about a super important part of the healing of codependency, and that part is detaching. We loosely have discussed these little nuances regarding detachment. But what I want you to understand is that we will hear here in the codependency community that that we need to detach with love. But the detaching with love is often misinterpreted. It is interpreted as a withdrawal. It's interpreted, many people create a silence between them and the other person, or they believe that they have to not care about what's happening with the other person, or they have to just close their eyes and be blind to it, or they have to struggle somehow to be separate, like not talk to them, cut them off, set these very, very firm boundaries. I've never really believed in that. I think that anything that we struggle against owns us, and we need to really be mindful about not doing that ever. So the concept of detaching is a really beautiful and supernatural concept. It is an amazing, amazing art that if you grab hold of it and you slowly allow it to seep into your body and allow yourself to understand it. You don't force the understanding. Maybe you could even ask, your higher power, God, the universe, you can ask for insight and wisdom in the power of the separation from someone that creates the closest connection. And it's a really supernatural thing to experience, and you will really love when you get there. So basically what it is, it's the opposite of a codependent relationship. And anything that's opposite of an addictive kind of pattern, addictions and codependency are based in fear. They're based in the concern of not belonging, the concern of not being liked, the concern of being disconnected, the concern of, fear of abandonment, fear of conflict, of failing, of not being good enough. All of those things are based in fear. But when you look at the concept of detaching, what's supposed to come up is the base emotion is based in love, harmony, connection, closeness, unity. So it's this interesting thing. The more we detach, the more we take ownership of our own being, the more we take responsibility for the 3 feet that are around us, and not be diving in and tinkering and trying to control and change the 3 feet that are around someone else. The more we do that, the more able we are to connect to that person, to be a person who shows honor to them, to be a person who is actually much more influential, to be a person who's accepting, to be a person who really actually is showing love and respect for the incredible gift that we've all been given of free will. And we've all been given that, and we've been taught that free will is like, the choice to do good or evil. But there's so much more to free will. Free will allows us the ability to create and to choose what we create. It allows us to do good things and to determine in which direction we'll be doing those good things. It allows us to make mistakes and grow and learn from them through choosing a path that isn't as good for us as another path. It evolves us as human beings. So what I want to say to you about having a relationship with any human being where you are anxious or afraid or angry, which is a form of fear, about their thoughts, their feelings, their actions, their choices, whether they stay, whether they go, anything like that is based in fear. And it's based in the concept that you somehow have to control, manipulate, create an atmosphere, manipulate yourself enough to be the person who informs their decisions, choices, way of loving, the mistakes they make or do not make. And that act of doing that with another human being creates a disconnect between you and them. And it also, because a main affront that you're doing to that person that may not be clearly evident to them, it's disguised under you being a saint, it's disguised under you caring, it's disguised under you just trying to help, it's disguised under, I love you so much that I can't watch you suffer. It's disguised under all of these really noble things that are actually just selfish, because it is a greater gift to allow someone the incredible pain of suffering through something. And if you really think about anything in your own life and what has developed you as a human being, it's been your difficulties and struggles. Discomfort produces change. When we stop someone else's discomfort, we are interfering with the beautiful supernatural plan of their growth, of their value as a human being, to regroup and to take the mistake and learn from it and to feel the pain of it. And, I discussed this last week, but I really want you to hone in on this, because this right here is the heart of codependency. People that are codependent, that are not aligned with themselves. So last week we were talking about your identity and becoming fully in yourself and staying within your 3 feet. Today we're talking about this compelling nature that we have, especially as women, as mothers, that we're given this job to nurture, protect, and take care of our children, and to, from at an early age, kind of think for them. But there's a turning point when they are needing to be thinking for themselves. When we continue to think for them, we're stealing from them. We're stealing from them things that God has given them: free will. We're stealing from them the beauty of mistakes. We have grown and learned in a mistake-averse society, which tells us that mistakes are bad. They're not bad. They're actually very good for us. They teach us. They help us to develop as human beings. We also look at bad situations that people go through as something that is actually bad for them. Listen, it feels bad for them, and they're struggling and they're hurting through it. But what about the opportunity it gives them to develop the vast, incredible nature that's being offered to them by this hardship? Do we want to rob human beings of that? We do. We want to rob them of that, in codependency or in, our selfishness as human beings. And this is not about criticizing you or criticizing me. We don't like what it feels like when other people are suffering. We don't like what that feels like. We want to make it better. And that is concern, and that is love, and that's care. But if you would notice that whatever, God, the universe, your higher power allows it, allows pain, allows the transformation that comes from on the other side of pain. So this requires a mindset shift. And the mindset shift is all about, do you believe that difficulties, hardships, pain, making mistakes are actually happening for us? That they're there to give us something in our life that we couldn't get another way. We couldn't get it by someone else fixing our problem. When in your life did you learn by someone else doing it for you? It's the same thing. I think I wrote in the PDF last week. I'm not sure. I write shit all the time, but I think in the PDF I wrote that it's like doing push-ups for somebody else. It's like saying, hey, you know what? You really need to get in shape. So you know what? I know they're really hard for you. So they're a breeze for me. So I'm going to do them. Hey, and you're really not eating well. So I'm going to do that for you. How absurd is that? It's the same thing. You know, people who are struggling, and when someone comes along and helps them, it does feel good. It's a relief. They don't have to go through it. And it feels good, and they're very thankful, and we can become put on a pedestal. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you, they have lost the depth of the experience. And it is really an honoring. You know, when I say to you, wow, I know you're going through this hard time, and I see you at this crossroad in your life, and I'm going to tell you right now, I believe in you, and I know that you are capable, you're more than capable of figuring this out and living in the solution of this situation. And I just want to tell you, I love you so much. And I will hold space with you while you grow through this. Now that's fucking love. Ooh, I cursed. And I'm not redoing the video. So ladies, that's it. So it is love. You know, it is the most greatest force on earth. When you can be comfortable holding space for someone else while they suffer, when you can understand and trust another human being enough, or trust the power of love on this earth enough to know that this hardship is happening for them, and you can encourage them in that way, that I know that you're going to be amazing on the other side of this, and I know that you have to walk through this, and I know that the only way out for you is through, and I'm here. That's it. Now, in order to be detached, that's detaching with love. That's not leaving the person. That's not shaming the person. You know what? You've done that for the last time. Now you made your bed, you're going to have to lie in it. You know what? That's not detaching. Okay? That's just mean. And it's shaming someone, and it's telling them that they shouldn't have made the mistake they made. And hey, listen, maybe they shouldn't have. And maybe they should have learned, but they didn't. So hopefully they learn this time. And if they don't, does that mean you don't love them, or you judge them, or you have to go in and save them? See, this is the thing. And it's also, you want to think about it for yourself. Are you willing to own the 3 feet around you, the words that you say, the mistakes that you make, the things that that hurt you? You know, do you have a tendency? And I'm not, you know, this is like, you know, we have many sides to our coins, you know, so it's like, you know, it's very compelling to be a victim. It's very compelling to feel like, you know, life is happening to you. But I want to tell you something. No one ever, ever, ever got anything out of a victim mentality, ever. I mean, we get juice from it. We get secondary gains. It's kind of like, you know, oh, poor me. And it feels kind of compelling and good when people are stroking you and saying how sorry they feel for you. But I'm going to tell you something straight up. You want to know something? We are not a victim of the life that we're living. We're a victim of the perception we make of the life that we're living. So being detached means that you take a look at other human beings and you have a mindset that is an overall mindset that there is goodness, that there is always goodness to be had, and you expect great outcomes. And when you look at people, you envision that for them. I'm going to tell you, I do a practice. You probably heard me say it somewhere because it's just a part of my life. If there's something in my life that I'm unhappy about with another human being, one of the things I do is I go inward. And what I do is I just start to envision them in the best place they ever could be. And I just see it. I see it and I feel it, and I feel the feeling about it, and I love everything about it. And I see them there because and then I'm going to tell you, I mean, I've done it so many times that it's almost comical. So the things that I envision, like now I do it so much that it's actually, I'm like, oh, well, that happened. So it's like, you know, I'll think about, you know, if my son's in a bad mood or whatever it is in the morning, I'll envision him really, really rising and just feeling so good and blah, blah, blah. I'll just see it and just live in it and enjoy it. And then I'll walk in the house and I'll see it. And it's just a lovely, lovely experience to start to see good things about other people and, you know, and enjoy being separate from them. The greatest form of intimacy, and I think of intimacy as into me see, the ability to see inside of another person, not even see inside, but them to allow you in. People allow us into their lives. We become influential in people's lives when we back the F up, when we don't judge them, when we sit and hold space right with them without a flicker, without a question, that they tell us something, no matter what the hell they tell us, you are right there. There's no judgment. And in that moment, we are allowing them, we're giving them the opportunity to rethink it instead of rethinking it for them. We stay in our own space, meaning that we know that we are responsible for how we act. We're responsible for how we feel. We should have no time whatsoever tinkering around in somebody else's life if we're really, really, really living in our own. And because there's no time. There's no time, honestly. If one of my kids is in a place that I don't like, that doesn't mean that I'm in a place I don't like. They're another human being. They are a separate person from me. What they do is not a reflection of me. And what they do or don't do or how they say it is something that I can just be there for. And when I do that, I'm going to tell you, my kids chase me to talk to me, instead of running away from me. If I ask them a question about what they've done, didn't do, whatever, even if they know 100% I don't agree with it, there's never going to be a time then they're not going to tell me. Because when they say it, I'm not saying anything. Because we never want to, when we want someone, especially our kids, when we want them to say something to themselves, never say it to them. Because you take their opportunity to tell themselves, wow, that was dumb. I'm not doing that again, right? See, the thing is this, when one of my kids say something or whatever, they did something dumb or whatever, they made a mistake, Ma, I can't believe they did this, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, well, you should have done that. What do you think's going to happen then? I say, oh, wow. How was that for you? I just listen, and then I don't make any opinion. They know me. They know what I think, but I don't think. I'm I'm there with them, which allows them to allow me in. Into me see. I'm able to see in because I'm not going to violate what's in there. I'm staying here and I can see in because I'm not going in and doing their job for them. Does that make sense? So what I want you to do over the next week is I want you every single day, you're going to be aware of what belongs to you. What is my feeling? What is my thought? What is my choice? Now, this is similar to the things we've been talking about, but this is the primary thing that needs to happen. When you start to think about what someone said, what they shouldn't have said, you're worried about if they like you, you're worried about your kid, if they're making a mistake, think about it. If your kid failed every single day, okay, now you're not going to love it, right? But I really want you to consider what the tragedy is. I've learned by having grown kids and by, going through a lot of things in my life, I've learned that it's not a crisis unless it's a crisis, and being detached means that you're not reactionary. It means that you are separate from another human being's life, completely separate. We are literally completely separate. Our bodies separate us. But when we allow ourselves to allow them to grow and change, to allow them to feel, think, choose, we honor them and we connect to them. You will never be closer to another human being than the one that you can be separate from, but with. So I want you to really consider that. And I want you to, as you're going through your day, you know, each day this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I want you to really think about, wow, like, I want to fix that. I want to change that. Oh, I could tell them how to do that. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't help people. It doesn't mean that if someone asks us to do something that we don't do it. But we don't rob people of their life, of their suffering, of their confusion. We can listen. You know, what I love to do with people is to, if they're asking for it, or if they're in that, we're in that space together and they're like, you know, sharing their thoughts, I will be the one who helps them ask themselves the questions that they need to ask themselves in order to get the learning or the growth that they need, instead of doing it for them, because that creates value in another person's life. And while you are completely detached with love and you're aligned with yourself, like we're talking about last week, the alignment with self, the allowing love to be filling your body, the alignment with, it is well with my soul, I'm allowed to make mistakes. Part of this feeling today is a growing process. You know, I like to look at life as walking. You know, I tell my kids this, you know, the only way out is through. So like, there are good days and bad days. So when you're walking, you know, sometimes the path is just wonderful, sunny, beautiful. You know, the air is clean, you feel energy and it's wonderful. And then sometimes there's like rubble and you have to kind of, you know, really walk slower through it, or feel difficulty, or feel darkness and pain. And you just keep, but you don't stop. You don't fight it. You don't say, I'm not going through there. You don't say, oh, I'm gonna, ask someone to carry me. And maybe you would, you know, that's possible too. But the thing is that the only way out is through. And, you know, as hard as it is to watch other people suffer, believe me, I'm telling you, I've seen my kids freaking suffer. As hard as that is, it is the best gift you can give them. Because, and I've said this to my children, you know, your struggle right now is your greatest gift. I want you to collect every item that you gain through your struggle. Collect them, write them down, put them next to your bed. Remember the lessons, remember the growth, remember the depth that's been created through this moment. And remember that every experience that you're having is something that's going to bring you something else. It depends on the meaning you attach to it. So if you attach victimhood, it's not going to bring you a lot of great stuff, right? So the modeling of allowing someone to feel like a victim, you know, I mean, is part of their growth. So bottom line is, this week, you know, you're going to do your PDF. I'm giving your you know, your throughout the week, you know, questions that are going to keep you on track. But I want you to really, really be mindful, excuse me, of how you have blurred the lines between where you end and others begin. And this is such an important topic. It kind of is segueing from last week as well, because remember, know yourself, be focused on yourself, live in the totality of just this 3 feet, like a hula hoop around you, like I discussed. Then you do not, under any circumstances, interfere with someone else's 3 feet. It's not yours, and it's not fair, because you're interfering, like I said in the last week, you're interfering with the supernatural law. As you sow, so shall you reap. Okay? So you're not going to interfere with that. You're going to allow people to grow and reap the fruit, the rewards of struggle, the rewards of mistake, the rewards of difficulty. Okay? This will change you as a human being. if you stay very awake and aware and mindful of this, okay? I want to thank you guys for waiting for me to deliver this video a little bit late. I had oral surgery and I did not expect to have like swelling and bruising and all this stuff. And I was not prepared to do a video. So it was just too hard for me to do it because I couldn't even open my mouth wide. So I was like, ah, shit. I'm still having a hard time, but I just, that's why I was delayed. I was like, oh, I can't do it. So anyhow, so next time, maybe I'll learn to do them earlier or not, because I know that I'm with a bunch of people who are really good eggs and get it. So just follow the PDF and detach and love yourself and love others by allowing them to be them. Okay? I'll see you next week.